Hello, hello, English learners from all around the world. Welcome back to another episode of English Daily Podcast, your comfortable, practical home to master real-life English through authentic, unfiltered conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm John, professionally fascinated by the hidden mechanics of human personality, including my own, which is currently undergoing a rather intensive internal investigation.
John, we are literally 45 seconds into this episode, and you are already putting your own subconscious mind on trial.
That is called emotional self-awareness, Sarah. It is a rare and highly respected personality trait.
Well, whatever you want to call it, today's topic is built right around that exact theme. How to talk about personality in English with nuance, color, and genuine precision.
And, more importantly, we are officially issuing a temporary restraining order against the most exhausted adjectives in the English language.
Which ones are on the banned list today?
Nice, good, cool, and fine.
Because the word nice is where rich descriptive vocabulary goes to lie down and quietly expire.
It really is. If I ask someone, "What is your new manager like?" and they look at me and say, "Oh, she's very nice," my brain immediately loses all interest. What does nice actually tell me? Does she bring homemade pastries to the office on Friday mornings, or does she simply refrain from shouting at people in the hallway?
Exactly. The word nice does absolutely zero heavy lifting. It can come back to our podcast only after it learns that it cannot carry the entire burden of human description.
Just so everyone listening is aware, this episode is designed primarily for our intermediate B1 to B2 learners who want to break free from elementary, repetitive phrasing and start sounding mature, articulate, and specific.
And if you're currently around the A2 level, do not feel intimidated. Stay with us, follow the back and forth dialogue, listen to our real-life examples, and don't worry if you miss a few advanced words on the first pass.
Later in the episode, during our word tour, we will slow down and master 6 high-impact personality words: shrewd, witty, assertive, tactless, resilient, and meticulous.
And in Say It Better, we will take flat, vague descriptions and transform them into vivid, natural spoken English that paints an unforgettable picture of who someone truly is.
Let's start today's exploration with 2 personality words that practically every person on the internet thinks they understand: introvert and extrovert.
Everyone throws those words around like confetti on social media, but I honestly believe modern internet culture has completely mangled their true meaning.
In what way?
People nowadays treat the word introvert as a fashionable medical excuse for saying, I refuse to step outside my front door, I never want to interact with another human being, and I plan to live under my blanket until the year 2035.
That is not introversion. That is called going into voluntary hibernation.
Exactly. Introversion is not about social anxiety. It is not about crippling shyness, and it certainly does not mean you dislike people. It is strictly a biological question of where you recharge your mental battery.
Explain that mechanism for our listeners.
An introvert recharges their energy through solitude, quiet reflection, and low-stimulation environments. An extrovert, on the other hand, gains momentum and vitality from external stimulation, lively group dynamics, and spontaneous social interactions.
That is such a vital distinction. You can be an exceptional keynote speaker, manage a team of 50 people, deliver presentations with massive charisma, and still be an introvert who desperately needs 90 minutes of quiet reading with a cup of chamomile tea to recover after work.
But how often do language learners trap themselves when meeting new people by saying, I don't like parties, or I am an unsocial person?
All the time. And when you say, "I am an unsocial person," people misinterpret that as hostility or extreme coldness, when all you meant was that loud nightclubs drain your energy.
Exactly. So instead of a harsh negative statement like, I hate crowded events, what can an English learner say instead?
You could say, "I'm definitely much more of a small gatherings person."
Or, I really enjoy meeting new people, but I recharge best when I have some quiet downtime afterward.
Look at how warm, balanced, and articulate that sounds. It explains your natural rhythm without throwing up a defensive wall.
And on the flip side, when describing someone who naturally thrives in high-energy social environments, instead of simply repeating, "he is very extroverted," what expressions do native speakers use?
We often say, he really lights up the room, or she's the life of the party.
The life of the party, meaning someone whose enthusiasm, warmth, and humor naturally elevates the mood of everyone around them.
Not that they literally live inside the event venue until sunrise.
Hopefully not, unless they forgot their house keys.
But introvert and extrovert are just broad psychological umbrellas. Once learners move past those two terms, they almost always fall right back into the same three elementary adjectives.
Let me guess. Smart, funny, and annoying.
Exactly. So let's play an upgrade game right now. I will feed you a basic flat adjective, and you give us sharper, more descriptive alternatives that bring the description to life.
I'm ready. Bring on the words.
First word, smart.
Well, that entirely depends on the specific dimension of intelligence you're observing.
Give us the breakdown.
If someone has rapid academic intellect, analyzes complex theories easily, or learns academic concepts in seconds, they are sharp, brilliant, or quick-witted. But if they possess practical, real-world street intelligence, especially when navigating business, negotiations, or money, they are savvy or shrewd.
Shrewd is such a marvelous, powerful word. It has a slight strategic edge to it.
It really does. A shrewd person possesses exceptional practical judgment. They spot hidden advantages, foresee complications, and it is almost impossible for someone to deceive or manipulate them in a transaction.
Like my Aunt Clara at a weekend garage sale.
Is your Aunt Clara genuinely shrewd?
Sarah, she is an absolute master tactician. Last summer, she saw a vintage oak writing desk listed for $120. She casually pointed out two minor scratches on the back leg, chatted with the owner about wood preservation for 5 minutes, and walked away with the desk for $35 and a free brass desk lamp.
She didn't just buy a desk, she executed a masterclass in strategic negotiation. That is the pure definition of shrewd.
Okay, next basic word, funny.
If someone causes uncontrollable loud belly laughter, they are hilarious. But if their humor is intellectual, fast, dry, and delivered with razor-sharp timing, they are witty.
A witty person rarely needs to raise their voice or tell a long, traumatic joke. They simply drop one quiet, brilliant observation into the flow of conversation, and the whole room breaks down laughing.
And remember the common linguistic trap with funny. In English, funny can also mean strange, suspicious, or out of the ordinary.
Like when you say, my computer is making a funny buzzing noise.
Exactly. The computer isn't telling witty comedy routines. Its cooling fan is about to explode.
Next word on the list, annoying.
If someone is mildly frustrating to deal with, they are irritating or grating. But if being in their presence is so unbearable that it drains your will to live, they are insufferable.
Oof, insufferable is a devastating verbal weapon.
It is. Think of someone who constantly interrupts you during an emotional story to explain why your personal feelings are factually inaccurate. Or someone who explains the punchline of a joke after nobody laughed.
I feel personally attacked by that joke explanation comment, Sarah.
I know you do, John. That's why I intentionally brought it up.
That leads us directly into one of the most fascinating aspects of personality language in English, the concept of twin traits.
Explain what a twin trait is for our listeners.
A twin trait occurs when two distinct English words describe the exact same underlying human behavior, but one word frames it as an admirable strength, while the other frames it as an unbearable flaw.
Give us the first classic pair.
Confident versus cocky.
Break down this psychological difference.
A confident person enters a room with quiet, grounded self-assurance. They know their worth, they believe they belong in the conversation, and they treat everyone in the room with equal respect.
Cocky, on the other hand, is confidence's arrogant, deeply insecure twin who walks in believing they belong in the room more than anyone else, constantly trying to diminish others to look superior.
Confidence pulls people in, cockiness pushes everyone away. What is our second pair?
Assertive versus bossy.
An assertive individual communicates their boundaries, ideas, and expectations with clarity, directness, and firmness without resorting to insults or hostility. They say, here is our objective, here is what I need from you, and here is how we will achieve it.
While a bossy person simply micromanages, barks orders without listening, and attempts to control everyone around them out of impatience.
But we also have to highlight the unfair social bias embedded in how these two words are often applied.
Absolutely. In many corporate environments, a man who speaks directly and makes firm decisions is celebrated as assertive or a natural-born leader, while a woman demonstrating the exact same direct leadership behavior is unfairly dismissed as bossy.
That is an essential nuance. Words have social and emotional weight, which is why choosing the right description requires real empathy and fairness.
What about our financial twin pair? Frugal versus cheap.
Oh, this one causes family arguments at every holiday dinner.
A frugal person is thoughtful, intelligent, and intentional with their financial resources. They save money on unnecessary luxuries so they can invest in things that genuinely matter.
Whereas a cheap person forces 6 friends to divide a dinner bill down to the last single penny, refuses to leave a tip for hardworking waitstaff, and washes disposable plastic forks to reuse them 20 times.
That's not financial discipline. That's an emotional hostage situation.
Completely. And what about our final pair? Determined versus stubborn.
A determined person keeps moving forward toward a meaningful goal, despite setbacks, failures, and fatigue. A stubborn person continues charging forward even after the bridge ahead has visibly collapsed, simply because their pride will not allow them to admit their initial route was incorrect.
One is guided by a clear purpose, the other is trapped by personal ego.
Beyond single adjectives, English has a treasure chest of idiomatic expressions that describe human nature with incredible vividness.
Give us one of your all-time favorite idioms for describing someone's emotional style, John.
She wears her heart on her sleeve.
That is so visual. What does that convey to the listener?
It means a person expresses their authentic emotions completely out in the open. They don't wear a poker face. They cannot hide their joy, their disappointment, their affection, or their frustration. You always know exactly where you stand with them because their feelings are right on the surface.
I love that phrase. One of my favorites is, he's a tough cookie.
Meaning someone with extraordinary emotional and physical resilience. Life can throw brutal setbacks, career failures, or unexpected health challenges at them, but they refuse to stay down. They absorb the blow, dust themselves off, and keep moving forward.
What about an old soul?
An old soul describes someone whose emotional depth, calm perspective, and maturity seem to belong to a much older, wiser generation. Like a 19-year-old university student who prefers vintage jazz records, deep philosophical conversations over tea, and reading classic literature rather than going to noisy, chaotic parties.
And the exact opposite of that, a free spirit.
Ah, the free spirit. Fiercely independent, highly spontaneous, and completely allergic to 20-step routines and rigid schedules.
The friend who buys a one-way ticket to a remote island with $40 in their backpack and somehow ends up running a boutique eco-lodge 6 months later.
And the universe somehow always protects them while the rest of us stress over calendar notifications.
It defies all logic, but we love them anyway. Another great one is a bit of a handful.
We often use a bit of a handful affectionately to describe someone, especially a child, a hyperactive pet, or an energetic friend, who requires a massive amount of attention and patience to manage. Like, my golden retriever puppy is adorable, but he is definitely a bit of a handful when we go for walks.
Sarah, let me ask you a deeper question that linguists and psychologists love to debate. Do you believe human personality is permanently fixed, or can it fundamentally change as we go through life?
I think we have to make a very clear distinction between underlying temperament and behavioral maturity.
Walk us through that distinction.
A person might be born with a naturally sensitive or introverted nervous system. That baseline temperament rarely vanishes completely. However, their behavior, their coping mechanisms, and their social confidence can transform dramatically through life experience, self-reflection, and practice.
That makes total sense. For instance, when I was in secondary school, I was terrified of raising my hand in class. I was paralyzed by the thought of giving the wrong answer in front of 30 people.
And look at you now, hosting a global podcast, speaking to tens of thousands of learners every single week.
Did my core introverted nature disappear? No, I still love my quiet downtime, but I learned the skill of confidence.
Exactly. And in English, instead of saying he completely transformed his entire personality, we have a beautiful phrase. He's really coming out of his shell.
Coming out of his shell, like a turtle emerging into the sunlight once it realizes the surrounding environment is safe and welcoming.
That phrase captures gradual personal growth without putting someone into a rigid, permanent box.
Let's run through a rapid-fire personality diagnostic, Sarah. I will describe a hyper-specific real-world behavior, and you provide the most precise English word or idiom to describe that person.
I'm ready. Let's test my diagnostic skills.
Scenario 1. Someone who checks their flight boarding pass 7 times, organizes their spice cabinet alphabetically by country of origin, and reviews every email 3 times before pressing send.
Meticulous. They demonstrate extraordinary, uncompromising attention to detail and precision.
Scenario 2. Someone at a wedding reception who tells the groom his speech was boring in front of 6 relatives, completely unaware that she just ruined the mood.
Tactless. Her opinion might be factually honest from her perspective, but her delivery is completely insensitive to basic social tact and timing.
Scenario 3. Someone who takes every single constructive work critique as a devastating personal insult and refuses to speak to their colleague for 2 days.
Touchy or thin-skinned. Unlike sensitive, which can describe empathy and emotional intelligence, touchy describes someone who gets defensive and offended over the slightest friction.
Scenario 4. Someone who never packs their suitcase until 15 minutes before the taxi arrives and makes life-altering decisions based purely on a morning mood.
Someone who flies by the seat of their pants or a wild card?
Spot-on analysis. Now, let's take the core vocabulary from today's episode into our deep dive learning segment.
Welcome to Word Tour, where we slow down, examine, and master 6 powerful, high-impact personality words from today's conversation.
Word 1. Shrewd. Pronunciation: shrewd. Definition: having or showing sharp powers of judgment, astute, practical, and clever, especially in business, finance, or negotiations. Example sentence: her shrewd financial planning allowed the company to remain profitable during a severe economic downturn. Collocations: a shrewd negotiator, a shrewd investor, a shrewd judge of character.
Word 2. Witty. Pronunciation: witty. Definition: characterized by quick, inventive, and intelligent humor, clever with language. Example sentence: he was known for his witty remarks that could instantly defuse tension during difficult team meetings. Key distinction: witty humor relies on intellect and timing rather than loud, physical slapstick.
Word 3. Assertive. Pronunciation: Assertive. Having or showing a confident, direct, and forceful personality while remaining respectful of others. Example sentence. Learning to be assertive helped her communicate her project boundaries without feeling guilty. Contrast. It sits right in the healthy middle between passive, too quiet, and aggressive, hostile.
Word 4. Tactless. Pronunciation, tactless. Definition, having or showing a total lack of sensitivity and skill in dealing with others or difficult issues. Example sentence, his tactless remark about her previous job failure made the entire dinner table feel uncomfortable. Opposite, tactful, diplomatic, considerate.
Word 5. Resilient. Pronunciation, resilient. Able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions, adversity, shock, or emotional trauma. Example sentence. Despite losing funding twice, the young founders remained remarkably resilient and launched their product successfully. Metaphor, like a flexible tree that bends in a violent storm but refuses to snap.
Word 6. Meticulous. Pronunciation, meticulous. Definition, showing great, precise attention to detail, very careful, thorough, and exacting. Example sentence, he is meticulous when preparing legal contracts, ensuring that not a single clause is ambiguous. Collocations, meticulous research, meticulous planning, meticulous preparation.
Now let's transition directly into Say It Better, where we take flat, repetitive learner sentences and upgrade them into fluent, expressive English.
Sentence 1. Flat, basic. She is a very nice person.
Say it better. She's exceptionally warm, thoughtful, and has a natural way of making everyone feel valued. Why it works, it replaces the empty placeholder nice with specific human behaviors like warm, thoughtful, and making people feel valued.
Sentence 2. Flat, basic. I don't like parties because I am shy.
Say it better. I'm much more of a small gatherings person. Large crowds drain my energy, so I recharge in quiet spaces. Why it works, it communicates emotional self-awareness without framing your personality as a defect.
Sentence 3. Flat, basic. He is very smart at work.
Say it better. He's sharp, highly observant, and makes very shrewd strategic decisions under pressure. Why it works? Combining sharp, observant, and shrewd gives a comprehensive portrait of professional competence.
Sentence 4. Flat, basic. She is bossy with our team.
Say it better. She's naturally assertive, though she can occasionally come across as slightly controlling during deadlines. Why it works? It delivers a mature, balanced psychological critique rather than an aggressive, one-dimensional insult.
Sentence 5. Flat, basic. He is very strong when bad things happen.
Say it better. He's remarkably resilient and has an incredible ability to bounce back from major setbacks. Why it works? Resilient and the phrasal verb bounce back from setbacks are precise native collocations.
Sentence 6. Flat, basic. He checks everything too much.
Say it better. He's extremely meticulous and takes great pride in double-checking every single detail. Why it works? It reframes the behavior around professionalism, precision, and high personal standards. Now let's listen to how these refined concepts merge into a continuous, natural B2 level spoken reflection.
For years, I relied on elementary words like nice or smart to describe people, but learning more precise language completely transformed how I communicate. For instance, my current business partner is exceptionally sharp and makes shrewd financial decisions, yet she remains remarkably approachable. On a personal level, I'm quite resilient when dealing with project setbacks, though socially I've learned that I'm definitely a small gatherings person who needs quiet moments to recharge.
And for our B1 learners who want a clean, simple, and equally authentic version,
I used to think being quiet was a weakness, but now I know I'm just an introvert. I love deep conversations. I take pride in being meticulous with my work, and I bounce back quickly when things go wrong.
Both versions demonstrate clear, powerful, and natural English. Choose the phrasing that aligns with your current level of comfort and make it your own.
So the next time someone asks you to describe a friend, a mentor, or yourself, remember to leave the word nice on the shelf.
Reach for words that have texture, weight, and vivid color. Are you witty, shrewd, meticulous, assertive, or resilient?
We would love to hear from our global community in the comments section below. What are 3 adjectives that truly capture who you are, along with one brief sentence explaining why you chose them?
Writing your answer in the comments is a fantastic way to turn today's passive listening into active, permanent speaking skills.
If you enjoyed today's deep dive into personality vocabulary, please hit the like button, subscribe to English Daily Podcast, and share this episode with a fellow English learner who loves natural conversations.
Thank you so much for investing your time and energy with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking with confidence, and we will see you in the very next episode.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. Keep growing, and bye-bye.